The Copycat. Hey, Tori was really having some challenges. She was watching a lot of not so good stuff, and then she began to act that stuff out. And the truth is, with kids, especially when they're very young, what they see on television and on the internet and this kind of thing really makes an impression on them. Many times we do the things that we're seeing. Kids are created with this, that's the way they learn, is they learn by imitating others. And so what's critical is that we teach our kids to guard their heart. The Bible says, guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it flow the issues of life. So we need to protect our heart from the bad stuff that's in the world. Now, sometimes I feel like parents will overreact and they'll just say, no TV. And I don't think that's the way to go. And if the Lord leads you that way, then you go the way the Lord leads you. But the problem with that is we're not teaching our kids to make their own decisions and teaching them how to guard their own heart. So when they're real young, you do make all their decisions for them. But when they get to the grade school years, you want to teach them how to guard their heart for themselves. So here's how I do it. Now, I have a comic collection. I like to collect comics, and so this is something that relates to me, but you can relate it to any collectible. You can talk about baseball cards, you could talk about antique furniture or whatever, but the idea of protecting things that are valuable is what we're talking about. So if I want to protect this comic, I have a comic right here that's from like 1964. It's a Blue Beetle comic, and it's probably worth about $75. So to protect it, I put this backing board on it, and I put it in a protective sleeve. Now here I have one that's an Iron Man comic that's probably worth $150 or $200. So there's levels of protection. This one's more, so I've actually had it encased in a plastic shell. Why? To protect it. And so if, and here's a comic that's from like 1986, but it's never been protected. And so if I just leave this laying around and say, my sister comes up and starts drawing on it or whatever, and then maybe I'm reading my comic and I'm drinking some Diet Coke and I spill some Diet Coke on it, and maybe the dog comes along and chews it up, or if I'm not protecting this comic and it's just laying around, somebody's gonna get into it and mess it up. And even though the comic may years later have some value because it wasn't protected, then it doesn't have as much value as it should have. And so our hearts are valuable, and we need to protect the hearts, and we need to teach kids to guard their own hearts, to make their own decisions about what is a good TV show to watch, what is the right kind of music. I think sometimes we say, oh, all secular music is bad, but there's some songs that aren't bad. There's nothing wrong with Happy Birthday to You. And so we need to teach them, how do I discern what's a good song to listen to and what's a not good song to listen to? And teach them how to guard their heart for themselves.